Welcome back to the table tonight, actually, not today. Tonight, Emily and I are going to be giving you a little information about the Great Split. This is a new game from Horrible Guild that I think, don't quote me on this, I think it's coming out at Essen timeframe.
Ooh.
It didn't come out at Gen Con, which is why we're here talking to you today. We were, like we promised, able to get some games. Sometimes we did some show content on the floor.
Yes.
We then took some games, which some publishers were gracious enough to let us take some overnight, which we have to return early tomorrow morning. But we wanted to get them here, play them a little bit, and tell you a little bit about them. And we got to do just that with the Great Split.
Yes.
And I'm happy to report it's a really interesting game. It's an interesting take on the I split you choose mechanic because I've never seen one that had you doing that sort of like on both sides of yourself with all the players at the table.
Yes. The other thing that they mentioned about it, which came true when we played it, was that it's kind of like Seven Wonders in that you can play up to 7 people. So you got that bigger player count, and you have that interaction between the people on your left and the people on your right. So you're kind of interacting with what they're doing as well.
Yeah, and it's in its essence, it's very straightforward because the cards that you're going to be ending up with on your turn, and we're going to tell you in a second how you end up with them, but the cards you end up with on your turn, you just play them one at a time to effectively go up a number of different tracks.
Yep.
You know,
lots
this
of
card
tracks.
might let you go up this track. This other card might let you go up a track a couple times. Then, the cool thing is the tracks themselves are going to trigger some combos, almost like a roll and write sort of feel in a way.
Yeah.
The game is not a roll and write, but you'll go up a track. Oh, I hit this bonus. That lets me go up any track twice if I want to. Oh, that one gave me another bonus. So you're able to put together some really interesting turns like that. All of that is going to let you go up these tracks to score some points during some scoring phases that happen sort of at certain stages in the game. After 3 rounds, after the 4th round, and then again at the end of the game. And there's some variability with when different things score, but some of the tracks will score, and then at the end of the game, you're going to score all of the different things that you would score throughout.
Yep.
So, on your turn, you're going to start the game with 4 cards, and then everyone's going to be dealt 1 card. So, then you're looking at 5 cards. This is the only time you're guaranteed to have 5 cards that you're looking at.
Yes, because you can end up with less than that.
Yeah, you can absolutely end up with that. You want to be very careful about how you split these. So in the first round, you're looking at those 5 cards. You're thinking, okay, I think this is what I want to do because these are the tracks I want to go up because there's different scoring. You're not going to be able to go up all the tracks.
No.
Right?
But you have a good starting point, too, because you're going to start with your little, your person,
Yeah,
right?
your character. Everyone gets one of these.
And they are going to give you some starting resources. So you're going to go up some of the tracks, whatever numbers they tell you. And they're also going to give you some ending contracts that you can look at to say like, oh, I'm going to have this at the end. Maybe I should start going up those things. So you kind of have a starting point, right? Asymmetrically of like what we might be going for depending on our hand.
Yeah, and those resources she was talking about are these sort of top tracks. These are these 4 or 5 rather resources that will go up. The money's kind of unique, but the other 4 are the basic resources. And then those contracts are here at the bottom. And those are very much interact with those tracks at the top because you want to go up this purple track and go up this purple track because at the end of the game, depending on how far you've gone up on each, there's a multiplier effect for the contract scoring.
Yeah, so it's like contracts at the top, you got seals at the bottom, and you multiply them together. Maybe some big points at the end if you can make it swing that way.
Yeah, so what are you doing? Of course, you're splitting and choosing, but what you do is you're going to take those cards and decide how you want them split. You're going to split them into 2. And to do that, everyone's got this little envelope with a splitter card inside. So I could take these cards and go, okay, I will split it this way. Put my splitter card there. And you're going to put that back in your envelope. And then once everyone's done that, everyone passes them to their left. And, you know, we've got it set up for 3 players here, but like Emily said, you can play this up to 7. You're going to take the envelope from the player to your right, open it up, take a look at all the cards they just gave you,
Ooh.
and then choose one of those groups. Now, you have to be careful not to, rearrange these cards.
Sure.
Don't cheat. But you're going to take a group of those cards and then put the splitter card with the other group back in the envelope and give it back to that player. And now every player is going to have the cards they took, that they chose from the other player, and the cards left over from the player to their left. And that effectively is your hand of cards that you're going to play.
Yep.
And then one by one, and that's, I think, pretty important because of the way some of those combos can happen. You're going to want to strategically think about this. You're going to play those cards out of your hand. And like I said, you're going to play a card and go up a track. I might play a card like this and go up 2 on that track.
Nice.
Some of these cards will let you choose between a couple tracks. Like this one lets me go up
either of the seals,
one of the 2 seal tracks. Others are going to potentially let me go up the art track. There's a number of different cards. Here's one that just straight up gives me 3 points.
Pretty nice.
So once you play all your cards, including
your
your splitter card, because the splitter card can be used effectively as a wild. You put it down and you can go up 1 on any track you want. Now, one other thing you can do is sell the cards.
Yep. If you don't want the card at all, especially at the end when you're pretty high on some of these tracks and you're like, I don't even know if I can use this.
Right.
You can always sell a card and that'll get you either up 1 on the coin track or just a point. So
Yeah, exactly.
Always nice to have a point.
Yeah, and the point is prestige. So the theme here in this game is sort of, think Great Gatsby. This is not a Great Gatsby licensed game or anything like that, but it definitely gives that vibe. It's got that sort of Art Deco look to it.
You're trying to collect all this valuables and loot and be the most prestigious person by the end of the game.
Exactly, and you're going to do that, and once everyone has done that, you're going to go to the main board. The main board's got a lot going on here, it looks like, but not really at the end of the day too much. You're going to flip the tile of the round down here at the bottom. That's going to shift this track marker right here. This is very much associated with the art track, I think it's called. So you're going to want to stay on the high side of that, or even beyond it if you can, because when it scores, you're going to score points sort of on this like literally sliding scale.
Yeah, exactly.
So you could get as low as 0 points. You could get 6, 10, 13 if you're within this, or if you stay all the way ahead of it, meaning the cards you happen to get or keep or choose or all art cards or on the seal track, you're going to be able to get up here and get 15 points.
That's a lot of points.
And that's just one of the tracks. There's a number of different things you can do here to get your points. When I played, I went up pretty heavily on 2 tracks. I ended up I think I maxed out the art track.
Yeah, it was probably a good
and
idea.
nearly maxed out the coin track. The thing about the coin track, it has a lot of double bonuses. You'll hit it, and you can go up any one track twice.
Yep,
which is
that's pretty nice.
Pretty significant. And you can even sort of incorporate that into when you're choosing your cards, because you're thinking, oh, you know what? I could hope to get this double green.
Sure.
Or maybe I'll just spice up the one group for my player to the left with the double green and just take this coin, knowing that the coin's going to get me up to that next double anyway.
So it's basically an assurance that you're going to get what you want.
Kind of, sort of. Yeah, exactly. So you're going to do this until you get after the 3rd round, which is when you score.
Yeah, and when you do the scoring, so each of these tracks scores a little bit differently. We talked a little bit about the art. It has that sliding scale. The purple's the most straightforward. It's just going to be whatever prestige points you got to or past. That's where you're going to score the most. And then the gems, you're going to score the least number. And then the seals, like we said, are only scored at the end of the game, but those are the multipliers. So whatever contracts you got past to the top times what your number is on your seals, and that can get you some big points. What I did in mine is I went hard in the green gems, and so that meant I had to move up the blue gems as well if I wanted to score anything. But I went all the way to the end of the green, and I had all of my seals in green. So when we multiplied it, it was a lot of points, and I felt good about that part.
Yeah, it's really satisfying. I've never experienced that sort of the combos firing off as well in an I Split You Choose. But I think the real hook here is that splitting, usually in an I Split You Choose, someone's splitting and someone's choosing. In this game, you're doing both every single turn. And it makes it really satisfying to find out what you ended up with from both of the groups that you did that with. And then climbing up these tracks, it's somewhat abstracted, but at the same time very satisfying, getting those combos. And I'm kind of looking around and seeing, oh, okay, the player to my left is doing this. So you're going up the green track. I'll put this green in this pack. Hoping that she takes that so that I can get these others. And when you get those cards back, you're like, wait. why didn't you take what
And I
I
was like,
wanted
I didn't
you
want
to
to
take?
let you have that, so I of
Exactly.
course didn't take those. Can't trick me, David.
So it really is interesting and exciting when you get going like that. And like we said, it plays up to 7 players, and we played it, I think it's 6.
Yeah.
And it's a really good time for 6 players. It's, again, it's nothing like 7 Wonders in many respects.
No,
but there's not many games you can get to the table that can keep moving along so quickly
Yes, it was
with a
really
player
fast.
count like that.
It was really fast. And because you only are interacting really with the people on your either side of you, you're not trying to figure out like, okay, and what are you doing, and what are you doing, and what are you doing? You just really have to keep track of your own, and at most, left and right, and then you're good to go. You're solid.
Yeah, it's a really interesting game. We've given you almost a complete preview of it here, a breakdown of what this game does. If you have any questions about it, though, let us know. I do want to point out this is absolutely 100% a prototype. So the components that we're showing and in the pictures, just bear that in mind. This game is coming out sometime later this year, I think, hopefully, Essen. But like I said, ask us some questions down below. We'll try to answer what we can. And until next time, make sure everyone has fun at the table, and we'll see you then.